You know that feeling, right? You spent hours, maybe a whole Saturday, wrestling with some flat pack furniture. The instructions are confusing, there are a million little screws, but finally you get that last piece in place, you stand back, and you feel this rush of pride. That slightly wobbly bookcase, it's not just a bookcase, it's your masterpiece. Well, let's talk about that feeling. And that's the real question, isn't it? You've poured your soul into it, and you absolutely love it, but let's be honest. If a professional looked at it, would they be impressed? That intense pride we feel can sometimes act like a pair of rose-colored glasses, hiding the flaws that might be glaringly obvious to somebody else. And this all starts with a really powerful, really human emotion. Let's call it the pride of creation. It's this fundamental drive we have to feel connected to the things we bring into the world. I mean, think about it. All that sweat, that time, maybe even a little bit of frustration you put into a project, that's not just wasted energy. In our minds, all that effort gets converted directly into value. The harder it was to make, the more we end up cherishing it. Not because it's objectively better, but just because we were the ones who made it happen. So this whole phenomenon actually has a name, and it's a pretty perfect one. Let's get into what psychologists have dubbed the IKEA Effect. And there it is, plain and simple. It's a cognitive bias, a little quirk in our thinking where we automatically inflate the value of something just because we had a hand in putting it together. It doesn't even matter if we built it from scratch or just did the last few steps of assembly. Our labor makes us love it more. And that's the key takeaway right there. It's a surprisingly simple formula in our brains. The more work we put in, the more emotionally attached we become. And it's that attachment that can start to cloud our judgment. And once you know what to look for, you start seeing this everywhere. It's definitely in that DIY bookshelf that's maybe a little crooked, but hey, it has character, right? It shows up at work all the time when we're absolutely convinced our idea is the best one, mostly because, well, it was our idea. And it's for sure in our personal projects where we can get so attached that we literally can't see their flaws. So what's going on in our heads here? Well, our brain is kind of taking a shortcut. Psychologists call it effort justification. See, our minds really hate the idea that we've wasted our time and energy. So to justify all the effort we just poured into something, we unconsciously tell ourselves a little story. Hey, if I worked this hard on it, it must be valuable. Our labor becomes an investment, and that investment makes the thing we created feel like a part of us, a part of our identity. Now, so far, this all sounds pretty harmless. A little extra pride in your work, what's the big deal? But this is where the story takes a turn, because that attachment, it has a dark side. Our love for what we've made can actually start to cause real problems. Yeah, exactly. If it makes us feel good, where's the harm? Well, the harm comes when our personal feelings start to clash with objective reality. And here are the risks laid out right in front of us. We start thinking our work is way better than it actually is. We lose the ability to look at it objectively. We get super defensive when anyone tries to give us feedback, because to us, it feels like they're not just criticizing the project, they're criticizing us. And all of this can lead us to stick with bad ideas or broken projects for way, way too long. This is really the bottom line. We get so wrapped up in how much effort we put in that we completely lose sight of the actual quality of the thing we made. We start to confuse all that blood, sweat, and tears with real excellence. Okay, so we've established that we're all pretty much wired for this bias. But here's the good news. We are not stuck with it. There are some really concrete things we can do to sidestep the IKEA effect and start making much clearer, more objective decisions. All right, here's your toolkit. First, try to mentally separate yourself from your creation. Judge the result purely on its own merits, as if someone else made it. Second, and this one is so important, get an outside opinion. Find someone who doesn't have your emotional baggage. Third, force yourself to honestly compare your creation to other alternatives. And finally, you gotta learn to accept sunk effort. The time and energy you've already spent is gone. It doesn't magically make a bad idea a good one. That's a classic thinking trap. And this is really what it all boils down to. It is a wonderful, necessary thing to find meaning in what you create. That personal connection is incredibly valuable. But we have to be smart enough to remember that personal meaning and objective quality are two totally different things. The real goal is to appreciate your own effort, for sure, but without letting it blind you to the reality of the outcome. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's that one thing in your life, that IKEA project, that you're maybe giving a little too much credit to? Could be a business idea, a side hustle, even a relationship. Just recognizing it is the first and most important step to thinking more clearly.